I'm getting there.
50. I'll be 55 this year, so I got
Okay.
to
The
watch
Canada Dry boys.
You betcha.
I love it, man. I love it. Dirk, welcome to the show, man. We're so happy to get you on finally.
Absolutely.
I know we've been back and forth for a little while, but it's we're finally here. And so why don't you tell our listeners a little bit about yourself? You're involved with a lot of companies and a lot of things, so give them a little breakdown.
Well, first of all, I'm not from Canada, you know.
Very true. Very true.
I'm from Minnesota. You see that Minnesota, and I get a lot of people say, "Are you from Canada?" And I'm like, "No, Toronto is actually south of me, though."
Yeah,
it is actually. You know, it's funny because everybody thinks that like Canada is like this northern place, but like 80% of our population actually lives lower than like Chicago, Montana, all those places. Like we're all in that little peninsula.
Yeah.
Right. I know.
Land, right?
I'll have a southern accent and suntans, all that good stuff.
Well, I mean, if you look at the southernmost point of Ontario, it's actually in line with Northern California.
It is, yeah.
Oh, that's not.
But that's not the case where we're from, Dirk. We're from Newfoundland, and we're very north. We're real northern boys, that's for sure.
Right.
There's no doubt about that. So you own Flex Fletch, right?
No, I wish.
No?
I wish I would have been starting the patent of it. I'm actually the brand manager for Flex Fletch. I've been that for about the last 3 years.
Okay.
I work with a number of other companies, brand manager, but that encompasses product development, sales, marketing, partnerships, all that kind of stuff. So I stay pretty busy doing that, as well as like we talked about, I have a hunting ranch in western South Dakota, so I'm heading out there tomorrow morning. I've got some hunters coming in from New York and Philadelphia for chasing some antelope and some mule deer.
That's amazing, man.
Yeah,
that's amazing. Yeah, that's cool. Like pronghorn is like it's one of those things that you don't really get the opportunity to do very often. And the ranch is was it 20,000 acres?
Right.
Whew.
Yeah, all in one chunk.
You can fit 4 of the hometown we came from in that one ranch.
Yeah, it's nuts. And that family was one of the first non-native families in South Dakota, and so at one
they're kind
time,
of like founders, eh?
Yeah, so they had at one time hundreds of thousands of acres, and the history there is so cool. On part of the property, there's teepee circles, and there was a buffalo jump, and just really neat things you can see in the history of different things. Actually, there's a place we call the Names. It's like a big white cliff up in the mountains there, and you can see it from the ranch, but you get up there and there's names carved in that stone from like 1801, 1804, 1811. And there was an old, I mean, you don't dare go up there in a side-by-side, but at one time that was actually a 2-track for covered wagons to go right by that.
Wow. If we ever get the opportunity to come down and visit you, you got to show us that. That's cool. I'm a real history buff. Like I love that kind of stuff. And that would be really to see something that somebody carved in stone in the 1800s. Like how cool is that,
cool.
Man?
Yeah,
that's
you
pretty
see
cool.
Their names are like Jorgensen and all these things with the lines through the O's and stuff like that. Yeah.
That's crazy, man. Crazy.
Yeah, it's neat.
Super cool.
Well, if you're into history, I'm going to tell you a little bit about we're here kind of a little bit talking about Flex Fletch.
Yeah.
And I didn't know this, I don't know if you're videotaping, but that Flex Fletch, we just redid the branding here. 2 years ago, we just did that, or a year ago, and kind of brought it up to modern date. It had an old kind of 1970s, looked like a rainbow tattoo kind of t-shirt.
Oh yeah.
With the circle in it and stuff. And really that actually came from in the 1970s. 1970, Flex Fletch was the first non-feathered vane on the market.
Oh really?
Yeah. Okay. So Roger Grunman was an aeronautical engineer for 3M. And in those days, 3M said, if you want to design and develop things, you can use our facilities all you want as an employee.
That's cool.
So he did that. He worked with resins and glues and plastics and designed the vanes, which have the same shape basically that they were in 1970, as well as the same materials. So, our Flex Fletch vanes are, if I look here on the camera, are much thinner than other vanes.
I noticed that when I was installing them.
Yeah, and they're tapered from the base up, and so they feather out. What that does is there's not a flutter in it, and also if you look, if you try to take another vein, you snap it, it comes back to shape whap, right? But this comes back really slow, but it comes back to shape on its own. And it's a different process. It's called a rim molding process. And so not only is it made out of polyurethane instead of just melted plastics, if you take our veins and you've seen it buried in a Target or buried in your bow case, right, or cold weather, if you can leave them in there for a month, and they will come back to shape on their own where there's no heat required. And that's about the process and the materials that were used. It's not just melted plastic. So
I actually experienced that last weekend. We went for a bear hunt, and the way my quiver ended up lodging itself in my case when I got there and I unpacked for the trip, I was like, oh man, everything's all squished to pieces. And like you say, it was in minutes. And I was like, oh, okay, perfect. Never mind. Put the tools away.
Oh, it's a really, for people that travel, that's a big deal. As well as just the average bow hunter. How many veins are wrecked because they're buried in a target? You pull them out and like, oh no, I can't. Now it flies like a wounded duck, right?
Yeah.
And so that's a really interesting thing. They didn't patent the plastic veins in 1970. They should have, because they would own the market, right?
Oh, for sure.
So that was a big. People didn't talk about patents in 1970. You just didn't. And so what happened is Flex Fletch really got in touch with the target archery industry, and really worldwide, about 90% of Flex Fletch's sales in the past years have been international. And literally millions of veins are going to the Netherlands and Europe and Korea and India. It's just insane the amount of veins that come out of that little shop that go all over the world.
That's crazy, eh?
And what happened is the other companies came on board into the hunting industry, and they went focused hunting. And that's how you see TAC and AE and things like that, because they were really focused on the hunting. But Flex Fletch owns if you go any research about target archery in the world, the national champions and the world champions all are using Flex Fletch veins.
Oh, for sure. You guys are huge in the target world. Yeah, by far.
Yeah, like you say,
I know AAE has the run of the run of it right now in the hunting world, but you guys definitely own the target world. And I'm gonna be honest, man. You're gonna steal a lot from those guys, because since I started using your veins, man, they're so good. They steer a broadhead great. They, like you say, they come back to shape so easy, and they're quiet.
And they're lighter. That's for people.
They're lighter.
With FOC, that's a huge thing.
Yeah.
Durability wise, too, we had Ryan Jeffries that shoots for Matthews. I know you're Hoyt, but he's a number 2 Matthews. He was right behind Levi this last year at ASA. He brought some veins or arrows that he had fletched 20 years ago to the ATA show last year.
That's crazy.
And we looked at them and flipped them around, and they looked just like brand new veins because of the durability of it.
That's unreal.
Like when I go shooting with these guys, I'll go with him and our friend Dave, and they're constantly shooting my veins off. Constantly. And we went last weekend, and we were sighting all in, and everything was getting good. And every time now it's just they just push off.
So you have to go to our clear veins or our black veins.
I cannot wait to start running clear veins. As soon as I saw that you guys made clear veins, it was
he was so excited, man. He was like, he actually texted me. He's like, dude, I was looking at the website. They've got clear veins. I'm getting clear veins.
Yeah.
Like, I knew that was coming.
No doubt.
Right. So
clear veins, black knots.
On the other side, it's kind of a cool thing. We developed this a number of years ago, but are going to relaunch them now in January. Is we have glow-in-the-dark veins. So
that's cool.
I'm going to grab them here.
Yes, please.
So right now they're in the SK2. Mm-hmm. So literally I can charge this for an hour, daylight or whatever like this, and you see it's already a little bit translucent, you know?
Yeah.
And it'll glow for 9 hours.
That's nice.
So think about this. You're in the tree stand. It's 4:30, 5 o'clock. It's still daylight. You make a shot. You've got 9 hours to find your arrow.
With a glow instead of veins, which makes it way easier.
If you don't get it the next day, it'll recharge up, and you get out in the evening, and now it's glowing again.
That's actually a good point. Yeah, you can go back and find it.
Right.
Wow.
So it's a really cool. It's it's different. We also have pearlescent veins we're the only company that has pearlescent veins. You know, if you have a fancy truck that has sparkles in it, like my wife calls my truck, right? It has that kind of sparkles in the vein too. So it's being one of the first vein companies on the market. There's a lot of cool things that we've had that other people just haven't done, and that we can do with polyurethanes that they can't do with melted plastics.
Yeah, no, they're amazing, man, and that's cool. I'm actually gonna look into those glowing veins because I think that'll be great for deer season, man. I'm really, that's the way to go, for sure. So you run. I
You
can't
lost
hear
the
you,
audio
brother.
there. Did you mute your brother?
No, I don't think so. I
You'd
might have
love
by
to have done that
accident.
all your life.
Am I here?
Oh, there you go. You're
perfect.
back. Yeah.
Okay. Was it true? I'm pretty sure I seen it on your Instagram. You guys are doing a lighted knock now too.
We do. We have the lit. So, you know, as you say in Canada, hey, you want to get lit?
Yeah.
Right. And so what's cool about that is we kind of had it under the radar, but we are going to be doing more stuff with it. And, you know, it's got this little switch on the side of it.
I like that.
Literally you can turn it on or off with the switch, you know, like that, and pretty bright. We have some new developments we're working on for that. I don't know if we knew this. You guys are probably too young, but really, Flex Fletch made its mark in an industry making a knock called the Pro Knock.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I've heard of them for sure.
It was literally, we sold millions and millions of those, but it was really for fluted arrows, wood ones or aluminum.
Oh.
But I'm working on it. What the difference was that in that throat there was actually tabs or little ears to hold your string on snap better, as well as there was a patent on it so that it was tapered inside so that you would never have string pinch. That's one of the biggest issues with a lot of lighted knocks is there's a string pinch to them.
For sure.
And so there may be something coming down the road that you might know about that have something like that to be looking forward to, that something like that coming anyway.
I like the sound of, because you're right. You can't switch from a regular knock to a lighted knock without changing your D loop and everything, because you just don't have the clearance, right?
Yeah.
You have to retie all your points and stuff. So
yeah,
I'm looking forward to that. That'll be awesome.
Yeah.
So and then we just came out with a new deal too, not too long ago, because we're always trying to innovate more recently. This is actually, it's a super glue remover. So it's not just acetone for cleaning arrows. It actually, anyone who uses a siren acrylite glue, there's always that white film. This gets rid of that, right?
Oh, that's beauty.
As well as it cleans up. If you're just stripping your arrows, there's always glue residue that the acetone just won't take. Where this does. So that's a new deal too that we've got. So
that's awesome.
You guys have been busy this year.
Yeah, because when you need to refletch arrows now, you can clean them off and you don't have any leftover residue. That's beauty. Yeah,
right.
Yeah. You guys have been like innovative this year. Hey?
Well, we're trying to work on some more things too. I can't let it all out of the bag. But
no,
of course not.
But it's kind of cool because as bow hunters, you know. So I'll just pull this out. We've got. Oh yeah, this is a bloody SK2, right? So that's always a good thing,
that's what we like to see.
Right. So that's a 2-inch that we have. It's been really become popular with, you know, Chris Perkins up there.
Yeah, that's what I'm running.
Shoots this. He loves the purple and the pink on the 3D circuit, right? But then our kind of go-to for bow hunting is the 3-inch Silent Night.
Yeah, that's
and
my
what's
next
cool about that is that this Silent Night weighs as much as a 2-inch blazer.
Oh, wow.
So you get the stability, but you don't have the issues with flight, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or you can do, instead of the people that want to do 4-fletchers, CJ, I think you're a 4-fletcher, aren't you?
We both are.
4-fletch guy, yeah. We both
are, yeah.
Right. But so what would happen
Fanboys.
is you could do 4-fletch of this or 3-fletch of this, and you're lighter FOC, but you've got more surface area.
You get the same result sort of thing. Yeah, no kidding.
Right. Yeah. So that's kind of a cool, obviously we have parabolic vanes for target. T-Bone really likes our 360 with the parabolic on it. You know, we've got all the way down to the vane that is probably the number one vane in the world right now is this cool little tiny
those little guys,
right?
Oh yeah.
They're so wee.
Yeah,
that's big in target, eh?
Oh, huge. But we actually have some people now 6 fletching this for hunting.
See,
oh, really?
I was talking about doing something like that for
right.
my wife's arrows.
Right. Yeah.
Getting the little itty bitty guys, but just all the way around.
So here's another kind of cool combination is that you can take we've had people do this too because they believe in the aerodynamics. So they take an FFP 360. All of our numbers, so you know, the number says how many inches it is. So 360 is 3.6 inches.
Okay.
187 is 1.7 inches. You know, so that's a great thing to remember. But they'll do something like this. They'll 6 fletch and they'll put the 187 ahead of that, so it cuts the wind for the 360.
Yeah.
Right.
Wow.
So
Now you're getting into something.
And if you want to ever play some, if you like to play, are you guys shooting 100 yards?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So instead of fletching your arrow with the point going forward toward your broadhead, try taking one of these bigger vanes and put the round edge forward to your broadhead. Okay. So the science behind it looks cooler this way, right? But the science behind it will actually create more lift, and you will shoot the same arrow fletched backwards higher at 100 yards than you will the other way.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, because you get the surface area up front, right? It's like a teardrop.
So think about it like the leading edge of an airplane. They're always big and fat instead of skinny.
Narrow,
right?
Yeah.
So even though it's an odd duck, we have people that say, "Yeah, I'm doing that because I like shooting long distance and I don't have the drop."
Yep. But I love archery because everybody has their own way of doing things and they like things set up certain ways and none of them are necessarily wrong if they work.
Right. Well, yeah, whatever works for you. Right?
Whatever works for you. If it's doing the job, then it's the right way to do it for you.
So I have a saying on T-shirts at my ranch that says, "If the arrows ain't flying, there ain't no dying."
Was it Wayne Gretzky famously said, 100% of shots not taken don't go in the net.
Right.
That's right.
Right. That's it. That's
every one of them.
That's it, man. That's what it comes down to.
So you gotta shoot. I may not be the most accurate, but man, I can throw arrows.
Oh yeah.
Oh, we loves going out for like 200 arrow sessions. No problem.
Oh man. Yeah. Right. It's the best. Shooting a bow has got to be the greatest thing in the world.
So do you guys ever shoot trad?
No, our friend Dave does.
Yeah, our buddy Dave does, and he has an Olympic recurve.
I'm dipping into the ILF recurve there now.
Yeah. Oh, sure.
Yeah. I'm strictly compound.
Wolfpaw Archery.
Wolfpaw.
Wolfpaw does some. They're out of Maryland, and he has actually made me one. He's actually he had to have it back because he had to retune it for me a little bit and make it a little lighter because I'm getting old. I can't pull all that weight. But but we shoot. Normally, I shoot trad once a week with a bunch of guys, and we shoot about 40 targets. But some are on zip lines, some are spinner,
really?
Some are aerial, and some we shoot at 5 yards, and some we shoot at 75 yards. Right? Then there's no score. It's just get out and shoot and shoot and shoot.
Just have some fun.
But it's amazing how with practice and just having fun with no pressure, how good you can shoot with your traditional bow. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Well, we had that one 3D when me and you went to Waterloo. Remember that one guy was there with his trad bow and he shot with us.
It
was impressive.
Yeah, he was really good. Yeah. Have you found that shooting a trad bow has improved your compound game? Or do you think it translates at all?
I think it does for the hunting world.
Yeah, the guys I shoot with are really nuts about form and technique with trad. So they're really good coaches. And a lot of that pulling back, using your shoulder and your back instead of just your arm, right?
Yeah.
And has really helped. Because I've never been a tournament archer or head coaches, but it's great. They coach the high school thing, and it's really fun to see that and have that. But I think it also just helps just shoot more,
Oh, for sure.
That's literally the biggest thing.
Yeah. Do you guys ever the other thing I got into a couple years ago was shooting slingshots and wrist rockets.
That we used to do a lot of that for small game back home back in the day.
When we were younger,
we haven't
for
had
sure.
that opportunity.
What's he grabbing now?
Something's coming here now.
I can see this is gonna be something interesting.
Yeah, I don't have the one from the other ones out at the ranch, but this is from Saunders, right? So look at this.
Look at that guy. Thing.
Right? So what's cool about it is these new bands are lighter weight to pull, but they have more power, right? But if you look, there's actually I have it upside down right now. There's actually a fiber optic sight that can be added to it.
Oh, no kidding. Yeah. That's awesome.
So like at 10 yards, I was practicing to try to get a turkey's head. And about 9 out of 10 shots, I could shoot a turkey's head at 10 yards with this.
That's pretty crazy.
A 50 caliber steel shot.
Whoo!
Right?
That's a lot.
So some damage to it, but that's the thing about archery. I think is so fun is that you can shoot everything. I'm not a compound guy. I'm not a trad guy. I'm not I'm not just this. Just shooting and fun. Well,
you like everything, yeah.
Yeah. So here's the other one that we just made legal now for Canada, right?
Yeah. Oh, that thing.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Now we have the fixed stock for Canada, and you can adjust.
Yeah, that's a much nicer.
Super cool. Yeah.
So that meets Canadian statutes instead of having a foldable stock.
Yeah.
So that's the reverse bat crossbow.
Nice.
Right.
That's really cool. Yeah.
And that shoots about 320 feet per second.
That's fast.
Fast enough.
So it's not a 50-yard thing, but 30 yards in the bush all day long.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, we've got some pretty weird regulations here that don't allow us to have cool stuff like you boys down there. You guys get all the cool gear, and we're stuck with like whatever dribs and grabs we can get our hands on afterwards, right?
No, it's cool stuff. Well,
yeah, it's really cool.
The veins are cool. We've got all that stuff and glues and primers and stuff. But I think the biggest thing we've found now the last couple of years is we launched that Silent Night to be in the hunting industry more. And we're seeing more and more people just come to us and go, "Oh, Silent Night, isn't that made by Flex Fletch?" And that's the connection. They had another marketing company say, "Hey, we should split those off." But I think we lost that connection in the hunting industry that people know Flex Fletch. And so now we're doing this Flex Fletch, Silent Night by Flex Fletch, and more things to show everything that we do.
Right, you're kind of bringing them back together now, sort of thing. Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
Yeah.
It seems to be working, I think.
Yeah. No, I think you guys are going to do really well.
A nose button or a kisser button?
He does.
I have a nose button.
Yeah.
You do? Do you have one of those hard pokey ones?
No. It's like this little soft round disc.
It's yours. Yeah, it's a Flex Fletch one.
Yeah, it's yours.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah, because a lot of people didn't know that we had the first nose buttons ever.
Yeah.
And the material is the same thing as we use in our vein.
I thought it was.
Oh, okay.
Same material, so it's that soft.
Once I split it to put it around the string, I was like, this just feels like a denser version of the vein.
You can just glue it together with fletching glue.
Oh, okay. That's a smart idea too.
Actually. Yeah.
Dirk, we're dedicated. We're all in now. Everything we shoot is all Flex Fletch, brother.
I know.
We love it
because literally the last 3, I've learned so much being with this company that they've had all these hidden gems. That nose button that we have, that small kisser button. We had the kisser for trad bows and whatever, and then we made a small one, and literally we've had it on the market for almost 20 years. Yeah. So when someone else comes to us and say, "Oh, we've got the first nose button," I'm like,
"You're like,
no, you don't.
You do not, sir. Sorry."
Before you were born.
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong. Most people looks at him and they're like, "Oh, what are you, a baby? Like, what are you shooting that for?" Yeah. And it's like, for anybody who's new, or for anybody who's recently changed a piece of gear, like I recently changed I changed thumb buttons, and very different length of neck on it, right? So it's going to feel so different. You're always going to feel out of place. So to have that little nose button there or kisser button, at least then everything is where it should be. You just have to get used to the feel of it.
Gives you a good reference, right?
Yeah, I think it's super helpful.
Well, why not?
It also stopped all my peep rotation, by the way.
Oh, well.
Gone. As soon as I clamped on the two things, boom, gone.
You mentioned those the pokey ones, like the hard plastic ones. I shot a fella's bow for him the other day because I was setting it up for him, and I forgot he had it on, and I like jammed my nose down. I was like, what is going on here? That has got to be the worst thing. I would rather the soft one, like you guys do. That's way better. I was like,
it's like having your little pinky up there, right? Instead of a cactus.
And it got like inside on the corner, and I was like, oh god.
Eye starts watering, can't see nothing.
I hate him. I'm not in on him at all. I'm out.
You guys aren't old enough for cheaters yet. I had to put a verifier lens in my string.
Did you? I'll be honest with you. I'm looking into it.
It makes a huge difference.
Yeah.
I mean, I was down to shooting about 30, 35 yards because I couldn't see the pins right. You know, even though I could see 2 miles, having things close like that that verifier lens just was like, oh my gosh, I could shoot out 80, 90 yards again.
Nice.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
We're the opposite.
I might have to get a little more
blind and I'm deaf.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah. And you're doing something with A3 bowstrings too, right?
Yeah, right. So I work with Brent on that and brand manager on that, and that's I'll just be honest, that's been a little challenging because we grew real fast. We had to hire some people really quick to get them on board and keep going. Yep. Well, then we've been playing catch up on things because their quality wasn't there. So Brent's been remaking strings for people and getting things back into shape at about par. We were out almost 6 weeks for strings, and now we're down to about 2.5 weeks now.
Very nice.
Okay, that's a big jump.
That's actually ahead right now for other people. So, yeah. And do you know what? Go ahead, CJ. Or you guys, do you know how those strings are different than the other things? Because that's my job.
I was just going to ask what the deal is with the bloodlines. Because
your bloodline fibers are.
How's that work?
They're still like the Dyneema string, but they're waxless, right? They don't require much maintenance anymore.
Well, so that's the education part. 99% of all bowstrings are made out of 452X.
Right.
And 452X is a blend of different fibers, and there's a little bit of Dyneema in it, and that's it, right? But the bloodline is 100% pure Dyneema. It's like rock climbing, right? That's what rock climbing ropes are, is Dyneema.
Yeah.
And so it's super tough. It's waxless. It's UV resistant.
Speaking of super tough.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's my musky bait. I put a treble hook on their tail and we're good to go, right? But they're waxless, they're UV resistant and water resistant, so they're the perfect bow fishing string. But,
no doubt.
But because the fibers are thinner, Brent uses 32 strands instead of 24 like the other bowstring companies do.
Okay, to get up to the normal thickness of what a regular bowstring would be.
But also with that extra fibers, it ends up to be a tighter string to roll through your cams. It doesn't flatten out in the cams.
Oh, I have noticed that a lot with because I'm running a Matthews and I still have factory Zebra strings, and I noticed when I look at the actual twisting within the string itself, it's very chunky. It's not a consistent tubular shape.
Right. Mm-hmm. So, CJ, when you got your strings, did you notice that they came almost stiff like wire in the package?
Yeah.
Yeah. So what happens is that other strings are loose and floppy, just like a loose lasso, right?
Very much so, yeah.
And so they have this different process that all their string companies, they'll statically stretch their strings straight out, and then they tie them.
Okay.
Brent stretches them out, but then he adds another process called his pre-cycle technology. So he cycles them up and down, up and down, up and down many, many times to much higher poundages than the other companies ever dream of with this process, what they're able to do. And what that does is it sets the fibers just like a stainless steel cable, right? It takes out all movement. We can take another string from another string company and get about another 1/4 to a 1/2 inch movement out of that using our process.
Wow.
Right.
But even though they had it done, there's still going to be movement in it. And that's the difference with the A3 and the bloodline, is that you not only have a different material, but you also have an additional process that extends that. And our break-in period is on average about a dozen shots instead of that 200 to 500 shots for break-in on a string.
Wow, that's amazing.
So,
that just makes the sighting in process and the tape process so much simpler.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's some cool stuff on it. You guys talking about tape processes, have you ever seen an app I'm going to show you right here. It's called Uno.
No, I haven't.
I have not.
It's a really cool app that you put in your arrow speed, right?
Okay.
Your drag based off the kind of your arrows or your vanes, right? Your peep sight, your measurement from your peep to your sight and your peep to your arrow, right? And then what that does is it actually creates a sight tape for you, as well as if you're doing multi-pin, you could just take your sight and put it right over the top of this and adjust your pins to it. And literally, it takes 5 minutes for me to sight in a bow.
Whoa.
And then you can lock it in. And let's say you want to tweak it a little bit, like one pin is off a little bit. You could just go in and go pin 1. I want to go +5 or -5. And then you can store that so that you always can have that. So it's a flight technology, and I think it was like $5.
That's a great idea.
Because I used to do the old school, go out to 20 yards, side of line, then step back and do this, right? But this saves so much time to get you right. I mean, there's still obviously some fine tuning, but
for sure,
you can literally shoot 6 arrows and go 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, and boom, you're within inches.
Does that app take into account elevation as well?
No, your sight should.
No, I don't mean like that. I mean like actual like physical elevation.
Elevation?
Well, like if you say you
sighting in on flat ground anyway, brother.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is if you're at sea level and then you go to 9,000 feet, your bow is not going to shoot the same because the air is so much thinner.
I see what you're saying. Yeah, so you'd have to use like that Archer's.
That's what I'm talking about.
The other app,
if it has the conversion,
which gives you the adjustments.
Yeah. But if you're a flatlander is flatlander, right?
Oh yeah, it's perfect for that.
You boys watch your dog run away for 3 days,
right? Yeah, but that's other thing about A3 is that strings. So you can, if you change not elevations, but you change temperatures, right? Other strings that have waxes in them will shoot differently in cold weather versus warm weather.
Yeah,
different.
Right?
Yeah,
where the A3, because there's no wax in it, there's no difference in temperatures. So you can be sighted in Alabama and go to Alaska.
Yeah, and it's got to be cleaner too because it doesn't pick up any dirt. Because wax, man, that picks up dirt like you wouldn't believe. It's sticky, right?
So some cool stuff, but yeah, I don't know. I love like talking about like this and learning different things. I saw this app. I was like, what a joke. And I asked Zach, one of my staffers, Zach, about it. He's like, well, I don't know. I have another one. And I'm looking at it going, I'm just going to try this out. And I tried it. I was like, oh, it works.
You get the epiphany of how good you're like, oh my God, this thing is great.
Yeah, I'm like, that's pretty good for a guy that shoots like me, right? But you can tweak it, right? But literally at 60 yards, I was within an inch or two at 60 yards. And I was like,
that's amazing.
Yeah.
So how did you become affiliated with all these companies? Like how did you get in and become a brand manager? And
so here's the story. I'll go here. We got more things in the closet here.
There you go. I love it.
It's show and tell.
Yeah,
it is show and tell. I love it.
You guys,
it's good. Yeah,
we do.
All right. So, years ago there was the Native Americans used to use wingbone turkey calls like this, right?
Those are beautiful,
right? So I got started doing seminars 30 years ago before the internet, making turkey calls and doing calling for Haydell and stuff, and stuff like this. Where's my other ones? I got some really cool ones here. These are like this. This is how I started out with the average guide and shields and stuff, and then I started doing them like this, made out of deer antlers.
Cool.
Man, those are nice.
Right? And I don't have time to do that anymore, but it was a lot of fun and got me connected with a lot of folks. And and so I talk about. I made a video the other day about being social on social.
Yeah,
because in the old days, we would go to archery shops and Boy Scouts and 4-H, and just the local archery shop and do seminars or church for the ladies' aid or stuff. Right? Right? And you would go there and talk, and then you would talk afterwards with all the questions back and forth and back and forth. And today on social, we have, I'll just pick on it. You have the pro staff that, wears a bikini and short thing and has a bow on it. And it's all about, look at me.
Boy, you ain't wrong.
Right? And so I'm about, hey, let's go back and forth. And that's why I'm starting to like these podcasts more, because it is, you need that back and forth, that instead of just look at me all the time.
Yes. I agree. I think it's a better long form conversation. You get more out of it. You get to know a person instead of, like you say, that just the surface of social media. It's fake, right? For the most part.
When you got
it becomes so much
like this.
It also becomes so much easier to share information and for everybody to get better at what they're doing.
Right.
100%. And it allows you to ask the question.
Right.
It's so much better.
And it's hard. It's hard on Instagram and stuff because everyone's just swiping. You don't get that.
Yeah. Stuff. Well, it's the whole reason we started the podcast was because we used to we would get online and we would talk just back and forth over a call like this about hunting and what our plans were. And my girlfriend one day was like, I don't know why you guys don't just start a podcast and record what you talk about and put it out there. So we were like, you know what? We tried it, and it's led us here to talk to you and talk to so many other great people. It's been awesome. It's been wonderful.
Ball.
Yeah. What's that?
I said it's total ball. It's so much more than I thought it was going to be. I really never and it's not to say that we have a massive audience, but I never really expected anyone was listening.
Yeah. No, but we've got a solid repeating audience all the time, and we get messages all the time. We're like, hey, we love the show. They're people are going to love this one with you.
Do you think that's missing component in Canada because people are so spread out?
Missing a point.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. It's our country has a lot of I guess challenges, we'll say, because we're so spread out and they're so sparsely populated. Like, you guys have 340 million people. We have 48 million in a country of land mass bigger than yours, which is kind of weird, right, to think about.
And when I used to live in Wisconsin, you could drive 15 miles and you'd have a new archery shop, but every 15 to 20 miles.
Yeah, here you're 15 hours.
Yeah,
in a lot of cases.
Hours. I'm actually, and I'll
you're
say
super lucky.
I'm gonna say it. Yeah, I'm lucky, but I'm debating opening an archery shop.
Oh,
I'm in talks with some people right now. We're figuring stuff out to see if it's a viable thing, and it may happen. Maybe
I may know people that you can get products from.
I think you would know people. Absolutely, yeah. 100%.
I'm sure we can figure something.
I might know someone.
You might know some people, brother. Yeah. So, but you're right. We don't have, like, you guys, like you say, you have an archery shop a stone's throw away from each other. We don't have that here.
Yeah.
We really don't.
And not only do we not have the frequency of stores, when you go into the stores that we have, the product varied selection is terrible. You might see like 2 different kinds of stabilizers. You might see 2 different brands of sights. Like, it's going to be very confined to whatever really that bow shop just wants to sell, right?
Yeah. It's very minimal here.
Yeah.
Like, your options are so limited.
It's really hard to find Canadian distribution as well as shops to really, because that individual one at a time across the border is tough. And so we're really trying to find, to work with a couple of distributors to bring more of our products to Canada, and
of course,
just have it happen easier. But
So
how did you guys get started in archery?
Well, we were big time moose hunters. Being from Newfoundland, that's like chasing whitetail here in Ontario and in the Midwest Midwest. We don't have deer in Newfoundland, so moose is our thing. And we're so lucky and fortunate back there that we get a set of tags for moose every other year, which meant Gary would get a set one year. I would get a set the next year. Our dad would also get a set. Our mom would get a set. We'd have 4 moose to get sometimes.
Oh,
and
that's awful.
Yeah, so terrible.
Such a burden.
Horrible thing.
Yeah.
And we were primarily rifle hunters, right?
Yeah.
And then we got so good at it, and I don't mean to toot my own horn, but we were pretty successful.
Right.
We decided we were going to start bow hunting, and at least for the first 3 weeks of the season. And then if it didn't work out, we would switch to rifle and get the job done, right?
Right.
So I picked up a cheap bow. He ended up picking up a cheap bow, and we bounced back and forth for a few years on rifle bow. It's only been the last like 5 or 6 years since we've moved to Ontario that we've really dedicated time to archery, because it's so populated here. You can't use a rifle in a lot of places.
Yeah.
Right.
So we've switched gears we're basically essentially only bow hunters now.
I don't even
own a rifle. Yeah, you don't either, do you?
I got rid of all my guns.
Yeah, all mine are gone.
Well, as soon as I found out I can take geese. Well, if I can take geese with an arrow, then I don't need a gun.
Oh, right. No, but I said you don't have any guns. You can thank your president for that, right?
Oh, bro. Don't wind me up, Dirk. Don't wind me up.
We're not gonna start that.
We're not gonna go there, but it's okay. He's only got a little. He's living on borrowed time here now.
Right.
He'll be gone very shortly, thank God.
Yeah.
And with any luck, that we can get back to being normal.
Well, I'm sure that also hurts the Canadian tourism, because I think about all the hunters
massively.
Yeah.
Just think of how much revenue comes from hunting, from Americans coming to Canada to hunt things that you guys are sparse down there. Like we do too. Like we come down and hunt stuff that we just don't have here. Right.
Yeah.
So go
ahead,
brother.
No, you keep going. You're on your thought.
Like how much moose hunting is done in the States?
Not a lot.
Not a lot, right? Because you just don't have the population there. But we've got all of them.
Right.
Yeah. Well, that's what I was just going to reference.
And all your wolves are moving our way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I was going to reference for back home. When you look at back home in Newfoundland, it's we'll call it a lower income province, right?
Yeah.
And the revenue that is generated from the guided hunts is huge.
Right.
Because there are people coming from all over the planet to hunt Newfoundland moose and caribou.
Right.
And they're paying tip top dollar.
Right.
Yeah. Thousands. Tens of thousands sometimes. Yeah.
Like for an out of country resident now to go back to Newfoundland for a moose hunt, it's like 10 to 12 grand to start.
For sure. For sure.
That's cheaper. That's cheaper than some of the elk hunts in the U.S.
I bet. What would be the price?
Elk?
Yeah.
Oh man, I mean, if you're looking, that's 12 to 15, even 20 grand for like a Gila bull is a big deal, or a special zone. I mean, it's crazy. Some of those tags are just ridiculous. Or like a Nevada pronghorn or Arizona, they're just huge, right?
Yeah.
And so, some places have just ridiculous amounts, where some places, or Iowa, like a deer tag is $600, right? And you only can get it every 3 years.
Wow.
Or in some states, you can buy a non-resident deer tag, like in South Dakota, it's $300.
Yeah. I was talking to our saddle sponsor, Cruiser. They're out of Tennessee, and they were like, if you want to come down for a deer hunt, like by all means. And I was like, well, what's the price of a set of tags for out of country?
Yeah.
And they said about $180. I was like, $180. I was like,
it's more than that.
I'll
it's
come
more
down.
than that here for an out of province tag.
Right. And you could probably shoot 5 deer there.
Yeah, probably.
Right.
No doubt. It's I don't know what drives the pricing on a lot of stuff, but I think it's a little bit of greed and silliness, right?
So, yeah, it's nuts.
Pricing with everything has gone crazy now.
It is pretty crazy. I don't know what it's like down with you boys, but everything up here is expensive. Everything. Especially if we get it from you guys, because we got to pay duties on it.
Now we got $3,000 bear bows, so.
Oh.
Did you see the new Matthews title that came out?
Maybe.
Did you see how much? Did you see how much the price tag is on that?
Yeah.
It's 29, or was it 2,099 American?
Right.
Yeah.
That's
which
so
makes it
much,
$3,000 Canadian. He's got one. Look at him.
Are you running one right now?
No,
I was
no,
gonna say.
I was gonna say if you goes and grabs one right now, I'm gonna cry.
I do have a Matthews too, but have you ever seen this one?
Oh,
Yeah,
that's the
that's
monster. Oh
Yeah.
no, that's the Juxing.
No. This is
No, that's like
this is look at you shoot through the middle.
Oh yeah.
It's a gearhead.
Gearhead, that's the one I was looking
what
for.
it is.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
So this bow sells for $750.
It's a short axle to axle too, right?
So this one is a 30-inch, but
okay.
I can actually shoot a 24-inch axle to axle.
Wow.
They make it
tiny,
18, but my arms are too long to really have a good. The angle is too pinched for an 18, but a 24 I can shoot all day long.
What's your draw length?
About 28 inch,
29, yeah.
Because I cheat. I don't go way back.
Yeah.
I shoot old school, like right here at the corner of my mouth. You know,
that's your trad shooting. See,
yeah. Right.
What's your go-to bow? Like, what do you normally shoot?
You know, I like this because it's lighter.
Yeah.
For in the backcountry, but I also shoot the Matthews, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, this is a VXR.
Yeah.
And then then I also shoot this lead curve here. This is a Fleetwood.
Ooh yeah, look at that baby.
Yeah, and then I have also got that stick bow. It's a hybrid because it's a longbow with 90-degree angles here, and that's out of wolf paw, and it just got some smoke to it. So yeah, I like to literally. It's like, oh, I want to do this one. I want to do that one. I want to do that.
Yeah.
It's not, it's you're just switching things up.
Gary's a big Matthews guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, he
like
shoots Matthews. Yeah. I shoot a PSE now.
Is that a gaming chair behind you, CJ?
It sure is, buddy.
Oh my gosh! Just
look at those Fletches, man.
All right, purple and green. There you go.
Oh, bro, I love the purple and green. It looks so good.
Purple and green, and I got the yellow and green.
Oh yeah, and the 4 Fletchers.
Oh yeah,
you got to run the 4 Fletch, man.
So are you putting a helical on it or just offset?
Yeah. I put a little bit of helical on. It's about 1.25 degree helical.
Mine's around 2.
Yours around 2.
Yeah, I usually put about 2. You can, with that Veinmaster Pro, you can stretch it to a 5-degree helical.
Woo!
Right?
Get some serious spin.
That's because that thinner base, right, it isn't so stiff and it flexes over the top of the arrow.
Oh yeah, that's a good point.
For those slow-mo shots, see?
Yeah.
Get those nice
5-degree
spin.
Cinematic.
Yeah, right.
Then you just throw on a lighted knock, and hey, man, you're Instagram famous.
You're Instagram famous. Yeah. So you're hitting the ranch tomorrow, and you're guiding a pronghorn hunt tomorrow.
I have actually guys came out with split tags. They'll do pronghorn and deer, so they can shoot either a mule deer or whitetail, and then they'll also get a pronghorn too. So yeah, so it's a pronghorn.
Sounds like a good day.
Now. Yeah, right. It's pronghorn rut right now, so we can hunt deer in the morning and evening, and pronghorn midday.
Oh, right, because they're more of a midday type of animal anyway. Yeah.
And if someone tags out, then we've got some prairie dogs to shoot with the crossbow. We got a little crappie fishing to do. We got some ponds that have a bunch of crayfish or crawdads in them, so we'll take those out and have those for supper. And
so
what porcupine or something that needs to meet an arrow, kiss an arrow or something like that too.
I've tried porcupine and it's pretty delicious.
Isn't that bad?
I'm not gonna lie.
Depends on what I've shot them. Well, here, look at this. This is look at here. Look at me. This is my wife's first bow kill ever, a porcupine. So we had to Euro mount it.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah.
Right?
Look at the teeth on that, eh?
Yeah, really.
Right. So yeah, monster here. The other tooth is up there, but she shot that in February, and it was like a starving cat when I scun it out. I mean, there was no meat. I'm like, it's a big porcupine. I'm like, oh man, this is gonna be good. We'll throw that in the crock pot, and I'm getting down to it. I'm like, man, I've had.
Where is it?
Where's the meat?
I was going to ask you, what does that run a guy to come down and do like a pronghorn mule deer hunt on the ranch?
We're about $2,700 for a 5-day hunt and food and lodging included. And then it's $300 a tag. So if you get 2 tags, it's another $600. So it's less than $3,500 for a 5-day hunt with food and lodging. But we keep it really. I don't want every Yahoo coming out, and I say like I'd rather have people that I know that are better hunters than me. Come out, and then we just have a good time. And literally, there's about 25 to 30 people on the ranch all year long. That's it.
That's amazing, man.
Yeah.
Well, it's super nice because it's not an overburden of pressure on the animals either.
Yeah.
No. Yeah. So
you're going to call from me next year. I'm coming.
Yeah. January we open it up, and it's usually fills up by early February.
Well, I'll be awaiting. I'll be awaiting the opening.
Yeah.
That's a reasonable price. I think that's a real good for a 5-day hunt, man. That's
with food and lodging. I mean, we stay at the cabin there. You don't have to bring bedding or sleeping bags. We sleep in a nice bed, and you might have to some guys snoring, but we do have special adapters for
I know it's all about that.
Have the CPAP.
Yeah. But the first spring bear camp, me and Gary went with our buddy Dave, and he made the mistake. See that the camp has 2 separate rooms with like 4 bunks in each. Then I skinned over and grabbed like the empty bunk in the empty room, and he stayed in with Dave, and Dave was cutting firewood all night, snoring
hard too.
So this time when we went up for our first fall bear, he was like, "I'm not sleeping in the same room as Dave."
Where'd you bear hunt?
Up northern Ontario, up by South River. What's that?
Armstrong?
No,
more close to like Muskoka.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Up around the Muskoka area.
Yeah, that's where I got this. This bear here was at.
There you go.
Bear camp up in Armstrong.
Look at him.
Nice.
Yeah, it was a dandy.
Yeah, no kidding.
So we filmed that with Trevin Stolfus from Outback Outdoors, but I shot that in 2009, but it was like 8-yard shot. It was
8 yards?
Yeah. Oh yeah. It was a hoot.
That's amazing. Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah.
How often do you make your way up this way?
I haven't been there for a long time. I have an invitation to go. There's an island in Lake Superior on the east side that my friends guide and outfit on. So they've got bear and moose there. And they've got
that's a big island too.
Yeah. 14 moose tags, bull moose tags, and unlimited bear. And so their bear haven't been hunted for forever really.
That's amazing.
So they've got 8 cabins there. So I'd like to get over there with that. Steve and Jackie Shore actually are their names.
Okay, yeah. No, that's awesome, man. Yeah,
I would like to help with their bear issue.
Well, yeah, no kidding.
And like little bears,
I need a robe.
Like that 500 or 600 pound bear kind of thing.
Yeah.
Because
they're no giants.
Yeah, there's no wolves on the island.
Yeah, no pressure.
They're not competing with anything or anything like that for food. Like it's just
bears and moose.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Well, if you whenever you do make your way up here, you'll have to hit us up. We'll have to do. We'll have to have a beer or something like that together, or a drink or whatever. That'd be cool,
I really would like to go to Alberta or Saskatchewan after some mule deer up there.
I would really like to hit Saskatchewan.
Yeah.
I am learning more and more about Saskatchewan all the time, and just how impressive it actually looks.
It's
our buddy Matt,
long haul up there though.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Our buddy Matt just shot 197.25 inch muley in velvet.
Yeah.
And it was a beautiful deer.
And he probably stock in canola, and he was probably 10 yards away.
Exactly. Well, he bombed them at 40 yards, but he was spotting stock in the field. Yeah.
Those hunts there are like Texas feeder hunts because when you've got all that canola out where we're at, the prairie grass is 1.5 inches to 2 inches, and you're supposed to do a spot and stalk on a mule deer.
Really.
you get your work cut out for you there, or it's so dry. Yeah. What do you got? Oh my gosh, that's a toad.
Look at that thing, eh?
Yeah, he should have got some Velvelock and put on that baby.
I agree. That's exactly what I messaged it when he sent me the picture. I was like, bro.
Yeah.
What are you doing here?
Yeah.
I don't know if I think I don't know if he got it scored or not. I'm not sure.
But what a tank.
It was a beautiful deer, man.
He
said it's the biggest one he's ever shot. He said he goes there every year apparently.
Yeah, and those mule deer are so much bigger than like even out west of the ranch. I see a mule deer out there. It looks like a cow compared to whitetail.
A whitetail,
a party, eh?
Oh yeah, and they're just. We were trying to do a sneak around on some antelope and got up in the hill country. And we're going to come back down in the draws on the antelope, and we got about 50 yards, and we're on a fence just crossing, and all of a sudden we hear some noise, and we look, and here's about 180-inch mule deer just sitting there like this, bedded.
What are you doing, guys?
You can see him turn. He's got his like field goal posts for antlers, and I'm like, next week, buddy, next week.
It's like it's not season yet, but you're getting it.
Yeah.
Well, man, we appreciate having the show. We're creeping up on an hour there now,
yeah, you bet.
But we'll call it. Thank you so much for coming on. You've got an open invitation. You can come on whenever you want, man.
Blast,
you let us know.
Well, if you ever want to come down and do a little bow fishing too or something, let me know.
We would love to.
Yeah.
We would love to. We'll take you up on that for sure.
I'm getting my passport application put in tomorrow. So
yeah, just when we end it, just stick around for a sec so it uploads, and then we'll be good to go. I'll let you know.
All right, sounds good.
All right, folks. Check Durk out. Flex Fletch, A3 bowstrings. So many more. We'll put a list in the description.
We'll link up the descriptions
for
the
sure, post so that you know exactly what he's all about and what you can check out from those guys. It's amazing stuff. Thanks for listening. Good night.
Love Sean.